Jenny had never belonged anywhere. Not in the crowded hallways of Westfield High, where clusters of friends parted around her like water around a stone. Not at home, where her parents' endless arguments drowned out any chance of being seen. At 16, she felt like a glitch in the world's code, present but never quite right. So when she found the dusty leather-bound book in the back of the town library's free to a good home bin, its yellowed pages promising the old ways of power and control, she took it without hesitation. The spells were simple at first: a whisper to make the cafeteria line move faster, a sigil drawn in the margin of her notebook to stop the rain on her walk home. Nothing ever worked, but the ritual of trying made her feel less invisible. She practiced in her bedroom after midnight, lighting cheap candles from the dollar store and murmuring words she barely understood. It was harmless, she told herself, just a game. Then the carnival rolled into the empty field behind the old mill. Ferris wheels blinked against the autumn sky like cheap stars. Screams of delight spilled from the tilt-a-whirl and the zipper. Families and couples poured through the gates, sticky with cotton candy and laughter. Jenny went alone on opening night, hood up, hands in her pockets. She watched them all, happy, connected, right, and the ache in her chest sharpened into something ugly. She wanted to feel it too, just once. She slipped behind the haunted house trailer where the lights didn't reach and opened the book to a page she'd dog-eared weeks ago. A working of unseen threads. The spell was meant to pull the hidden strings of fate, to make the caster noticed, desired, part of things. She'd practiced the Latin phonetics until they felt natural. Tonight, she would make it real. The words left her lips in a shaky rush. Salt from a torn packet scattered across the dirt. A single drop of blood from a pricked finger sealed it. The candle flame guttered, then flared green for half a heartbeat before dying. A low hum passed through the ground, like the carnival itself had drawn a breath and forgotten to let it go. Jenny waited for the rush of belonging. Instead, the Ferris wheel lurched once, then resumed its lazy spin. She almost laughed. Nothing again, just another failure. The first accident happened 30 minutes later. A teenage boy named Marcus, popular, loud, everything Jenny wasn't, had convinced his girlfriend to ride the old wooden roller coaster twice in a row. They were in the very back car, right where the track curved sharpest. The lap bar clicked down, the cars clattered up the first hill. At the crest, the chain slipped with a sound like a bone snapping. The train plunged forward, free of the lift mechanism. Marcus's car tore off the rails at the bottom of the drop, cartwheeling into the midway. He and his girlfriend died instantly. The rest of the train slammed into the wreckage. 3 more people were crushed. The operator, who had been in the right place at the wrong time, checking a loose bolt he never should have ignored, was flung 20 feet and never woke up. Jenny stood frozen at the edge of the crowd, book still clutched under her coat. Sirens painted the night red and blue. She told herself it was coincidence. It wasn't. The next night she came back, drawn by guilt and dread, telling herself she would watch and prove it had nothing to do with her. The tilt-a-whirl spun faster than it should have. A single car detached mid-ride, launching its 4 occupants like stones from a slingshot. One girl landed on the ticket booth roof. Another was impaled on a decorative lamppost shaped like a candy cane. The operator, who had stepped forward at exactly the wrong second to wave at his daughter in the crowd, was decapitated by flying metal. Jenny ran home and tore through the book until her eyes burned. There was no reversal spell, no counter curse, only a faded note in the margin, written in a shaky hand. What is loosed cannot be called back. The threads once pulled belong to the dark. By the 3rd night, the carnival was still open. Desperate owners, cheap lawyers, and the promise of enhanced safety checks kept the gates unlocked. Jenny didn't go inside. She stood on the hill overlooking the field, book open in the moonlight, whispering every undoing charm she could find. Nothing changed. The scrambler went next. A mother of 2, trying to keep her kids from being scared, sat in the outermost seat. The arm snapped at its weld. The car spun off, cartwheeling through the food court. The mother died, shielding her daughter. The little girl lived long enough to scream for her before the second car crushed them both. The operator, who had been right there tightening a cable that looked fine an hour ago, was dragged under the gears and pulped. One by one, they fell. The zipper, the bumper cars. Somehow the electricity surged and welded the cars together while they were moving at full speed. The carousel, of all things, its ancient gears suddenly seizing and flinging wooden horses like shrapnel. Each time the victims were ordinary people doing ordinary things. Laughing, holding hands, checking their phones, stepping forward at the exact second fate had been twisted. Jenny watched from the hill until the ambulances stopped coming because the town had run out of room at the morgue. She tried lighting black candles backwards. She burned the page with the original spell. She cut her palms and offered her own blood in the dirt. The carnival lights kept blinking. Another ride groaned and failed somewhere below. Another distant scream rose into the cold night. On the final night, the Ferris wheel, still running despite everything, stopped at the very top with a family of 4 inside. The safety harnesses had been fixed that morning. They weren't. The car detached and fell 40 feet. Jenny heard the impact from her bedroom window 2 miles away. She never went back. She kept the book under her pillow like a curse she could no longer escape. Every night she dreamed of gears grinding flesh, of laughter turning to wet silence, of people who had simply been in the right place at the wrong time. She never felt noticed. She never felt powerful. She only felt the weight of threads she had pulled without understanding what they held together. And the carnival lights never went dark. They still flicker on the edge of town some autumn evenings, faint and wrong, waiting for the next careless soul who thinks they can borrow a little magic. The moral of the story is simple, and it is written in every broken ride and every unmarked grave. Don't mess with things you know nothing about.